Episode 4 opens on the 104th Cadet Corps doing field training exercises.
Of a little game he taught me, and the story I will tell, with lots of little soldiers, and as sure as the day would come, I sent 'em into battle at the beating of a drum. I put 'em all up on a table and I marched 'em all around.
It's been 2 years since last episode, which means all the characters are 2 years older. Erin, Mikasa, and Armin are all about 15 now, with everyone else in the class being either the same age or slightly older. It depends on birthdays and stuff, because you'd better believe most named characters have canonical birthdays, but I'm pretty sure, a few people might be closer to 17, but that really just depends on whether we're going on the ages they were at the beginning, like going into the year, or the age they're going to become by the time the year is over. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Armin is lagging behind the group as they're running through the forest, carrying these heavy packs of supplies. It's pouring rain, he's cold, he's, quote, built like a daffodil. Reiner shows up, grabs Armin's bag from him, tells him not to mention it. See, what did I say last time? Armin has that wide-eyed baby deer disposition that makes other men want to protect him. He's like Michael Nesmith, if Michael Nesmith were blonde and less, ontologically evil. Armin knows he looks like a newborn foal, and he kind of really hates it because it makes other people underestimate him. He wants to be taken seriously, so he grabs his stuff back from Reiner, steps on the gas, and shoots up to the front of the formation. He says, "I'm nobody's burden." Keith is impressed by this. He's grading the kids based on their performance since they're supposed to be graduating from basic soon. Remember, only the top 10 have a shot at joining the interior military police. So far, the ones who are kind of jockeying for first place are Mikasa, because she's freakishly good at everything, Reiner, because, well, look at him, Bertolt, because he's my special little boy, and Annie, the dark horse who just kind of came out of nowhere. So that's the upper echelon, right? Then, underneath that, we have the candidates for the top 10 who are good, but not number one in the class good. These are your Jean Kirsteins, your Eren Jaegers, Marco Boat is here, and Connie and Sasha. It's later, and we're doing hand-to-hand combat drills now. Eren somehow gets the drop on Reiner, which I'm sure isn't foreshadowing for anything, and the only real explanation I have for this is, you know how sometimes grown-up cats pretend to be hurt when kittens bite them? As a confidence-boosting thing? I think that's what Reiner's doing right now, and it only gets worse from there because I think it's actually working too.
The whole phallic thing is happening.
Annie isn't taking the exercise seriously, and if there's one thing about Annie, it's that, for whatever reason, Reiner Braun does not fuck with her. He doesn't like her, he takes every chance to call her a slacker, he's kind of obsessed with her, and it's weird. Antagonistic. Maybe she used to steal his lunch money when they were kids, or maybe it's just that he feels insecure, that his status of most powerful blonde in the 104th might be under threat with her around. His whole thing is kind of like, who died and made you camp counselor, you know? He seems to think of himself as a mentor figure, not just to Eren, but to the entire class, even though he's the same age and the same rank as everyone else. Strange boy. Whatever. So Reiner gets in the pit with Annie, they snap at each other, he riles her up, and then he tags Eren in to fight her instead. And that fight is over in less than a second. She instantly beats him, he's on the ground, no one has any idea what just happened. Annie is calm. She's cool and collected, not a single one of her feathers are ruffled. She asks Reiner if he's ready to stop being a little bitch and get back in the ring to finish what they started all those years ago, and he's like, I would love to, but you know what, I think I left my car in 15-minute parking. But Eren's still on the ground, by the way, is like, no, dude, you're not getting out of this. So 2 seconds later, they're both on the ground. If we can look past Annie being awesome for a second, though, I'd like to draw your attention to the specific phrases Reiner keeps using. He says, a soldier needs to be prepared. I guess a soldier can't really afford to back down. Because, who is he saying this to? Maybe it's just his way of hyping himself up, or maybe he's pulling a Jesse James Grill and speaking directly to us or something. Eren asks Annie to please teach him that crazy martial arts thing she was doing because he's the main character and the youth of America depends on him to show the way. She's like, okay, I guess it's just some capoeira technique my dad used to show me. And then she starts spitting absolute bars. You don't fight the nature of things and win.
You don't fight the nature of things and win.
Basically, she's saying the same thing Bertolt did last time about the power of fear and how it warps people's perceptions of danger. She tells him, the better you are at fighting titans, the less likely it is that the government will ever let you fight them because they want the best fighters protecting them on the interior, where the titans are not. If the rich are gathering all the best soldiers up for themselves, when in reality they don't even need the protection, what does that mean for the poorest people on the fringes of the kingdom? They're stuck with Hannes, essentially. Greed and the hoarding of resources within the walls leads only to danger for those without power. It's dinner time now, and Jean is bragging about how good he is on the ODM gear. Those flying rigs they use are called omnidirectional mobility gear. I don't know if I've mentioned that yet. To try impressing his crush, Mikasa. The only one impressed is Marco. Aaron is annoyed at Jean's posturing. It seems like Annie's words struck a serious chord with him. He calls Jean a coward, tells him he sucks, and they're another 2 seconds away from a full-on 2 cartoon cats in a cloud of dust brawl when Mikasa steps in and tells them each to go back to their side of the line. And that doesn't work. Jean is insanely jealous that Aaron's girlfriend is cooler than his, so the fight continues to happen. Aaron uses that new thing he got from Annie, Jean's on the floor, everyone's screaming, everyone's crying, and then the door opens and Keith is like, "Will, you children, shut the fuck up." It's the night of the graduation. The top 10 are, in order, Mikasa, Reiner, Bertolt, Annie, Aaron, Jean, Marco, Connie, Sasha, and... no, I do not for 1 second believe Krista should be in this lineup at all. I think there's something nefarious going on. Someone's pulling strings for her somewhere. Look at her. She smacks of nepotism. That night, everyone's at the graduation party, and everyone except Aaron, who is in the top 10, are super jazzed about being able to scamper away to the interior like the sociable little squirrels they are and hide out there for the rest of the winter, with in this case, the rest of the winter being their lives. Aaron gives this whole big speech about the wages of cowardice being death or something, which I'm pretty sure is not the exact wording from the book, but it's close enough to get the point across, and suddenly a whole lot more people want to join the Scouts this year. Man, this Aaron kid is a really good rallying figure. I hope no one notices that and decides to use it for evil. The next morning, we see another group of scouts returning, mirroring the scene in episode 1. This time, the expedition seems to have gone much, much better. Ervin Smith, who was a captain, or maybe he was a section commander, I'm not sure, trying to figure out the difference between those two ranks specifically trips me up every time. Anyway, the last time we saw him, he was a captain, and now he's the commander of the scout regiment. Maybe he's doing a better job at leading them than Keith did. Maybe he has better tactical skills, or maybe he's just gotten more lucky. Behind him are several more veteran scouts, including definitely Section Commander Hanji Zoe, Mika Zacharias, who's the second best in the entire world, and of course the guy he's second to, the fabled Captain Levi, also known as humanity's strongest soldier. Hannes shows up to congratulate Aaron, Armin, and Mikasa on graduating from the top of their class. And right away, he's talking about Carla. Aaron forgives Hannes for saving them at the cost of his mother. He just has to join the scouts, and then he will kill them all. As a part of their graduation ritual, all the new soldiers have to clean the cannons on top of the walls close to the headquarters building. Sasha steals some cured meat from the officer's pantry. See, it's funny because she has a compulsion based around food insecurity. We get it, whatever. The important thing is what happens next, and watch out because it's a doozy. The wind dies down. There's a long, eerie silence. A flash of light, the crack of thunder. It's the Colossal Titan's second appearance, looming over the south wall of Trost. Just like Shiganshina, it kicks a hole in the wall, and just like Shiganshina, Aaron is angry. He prepares to go for the kill. And that's the end of that one, so yeah, bit of a cliffhanger. Now, triangles, squares, esteemed other shapes, we are heading into the spoiler zone. If you don't want to hear me speaking very openly about extremely large spoilers, please exit now. If you wish to continue, you have been warned. So Reiner's talking like that because he's getting into character as the soldier, since he's putting on an act to blend in with the Islanders. The soldier stands in direct opposition to the warrior persona, which is the part of Reiner that's a child spy sent from the mainland to do a mission. Underneath all of that, who is Reiner Braun really? I don't know. Maybe he doesn't either. It's a tragedy, folks. He's consuming himself. As for who died and made him camp counselor, Marcel, formerly known as Berwick. Also, Levi doesn't know his last name at this point in the story because his mother kept their family a secret from him, but we know it's Ackerman, just like Mikasa. Okay, that's it. See you in the next one.